Hey guys, this is Julian from the Binary Lab. So I'm in the same setting as the previous video only because it's such a great setting I decided to make another one. And this happens to be, a nice video area that I just haven't been, it's just around the house area where I live, but I have not been here for some time. And I mean, well, what fresh air, what a great scenery, right? And the birds chirping and all that, and like the plants giving off that oxygen and water vapor and all that. So I'm gonna make this other video. So this video is, as you can see in the title, all right, it wasn't carelessness that I nearly got my account wiped out. I lost everything, nearly. Okay, so let me get into this topic right away. As in, like, I want to share with you about this time where I nearly wiped out a large six-figure sum of money. Okay, so many of you who have been following me on YouTube for some time uh, might know my story, but for the benefit of those that are new to my channel, um, as you guys know, I do binary options, and this was my binary options account that I was talking about, how I nearly wiped out uh, six figures, and it wasn't carelessness. Okay, part of it, there was a little bit of carelessness, which kind of meant sent me on like an overkill kind of, you get what I mean, right? Overkill trading. But when it came down to it, it wasn't about carelessness at all, and I'll show you what happened. So for those of you who don't really know me that well, I'm just gonna give you a little bit of my background. Um, you know, Basically, I started out my family. I come from a place, Singapore, which if you don't know where that is not in China. It is actually in Southeast Asia. It's right there, surrounded by Malaysia, Indonesia, Thailand. Okay, those are in the immediate vicinity. Okay, and Singapore also happens to be one of the most expensive places to live in the world. The cost of living is very high. How high is it? Well, basically, um, if you had $500,000, that could only get you a small, maybe 120 square meter apartment, not even a condominium, not even a house. Okay, and 80,000 would only get you, if you were looking to buy a new car, 80,000 will only get you a Honda Civic. So that is how expensive it is to live in Singapore. Um, and needless to say, other cars will cost a lot more. Okay, so Singapore is expensive, and to get through day to day, uh, you know, lunch in the business district would set you back about $9-10 in a food court, not even in a restaurant. Okay, so not even a cafe. It is kind of expensive. So basically, when I had my first two children, my older two children are right now 8 and 6. My youngest one is 2. But when I first had my older two children, I knew that just a job was not going to be able to uh, help us have a family lifestyle. Okay, I needed something more than a job, and that's when I set up my tennis business and actually got quite successful at it. And then, um, like thankfully, due to some smarts, as you guys know, I'm I'm kind of creative, and I kind of uh, know how to promote myself. So I created my tennis business from a different angle, promoted it well, and in no time, I was one of the tennis coaches that many tennis coaches out there were jealous of, because I had more students, and I also had students who paid more money than their students. So I made a fairly decent income, which was in the 10 to 20,000 range, depending on the weather. But it was only because of a longest rain spell in the history of Singapore, which was lasted for about 6 months, where it rained almost every day, that business had to close down, and also with heavy debts from like court hire, when I actually expanded to a academy kind of thing. So that was when I got into um, I was at the point of time where I had to pay off serious debt. I was like, oh gosh, why did I even have to do all this? Like I was like, and then now, I what's initially seemed like a really good idea. I mean, the whole tennis thing, the promotion, all that, it was like a double-edged sword because uh, if I didn't know that much for promotion, if I didn't promote myself that much, I wouldn't be in that much of an advertising debt. I wouldn't be in a rental debt, and I wouldn't be in a debt to like the assistance that I put on retainer. Okay. So anyway, there's a lot of debt to clear, and getting back to the job obviously not an option as well. So that's why I found internet marketing, and that's when I found trading eventually as well. And then when I found out that binary options was a way better, way quicker way of getting money than other forms of trading like stocks, forex, whatever. Um, at that time, okay, because at the time I was kind of like I was very fast paced. I wanted like quick, I needed like quick instant gratification. I didn't have a lot of time. I couldn't monitor stuff, so it's like while you may argue that there are other ways of trading that were available, but that was what made the most sense to me at that time. And so I shifted from one broker to the next with the success that I made, basically because I was looking for new features and more stability, especially in the terms of withdrawals. So if if you guys look at my previous videos, probably you can guess which broker it was that I was making. I massively scaled the number of I mean the size of my trades, because I mean like I had to move from broker to broker because the previous brokers were not able to provide me the ability to trade more than, let's say, like um, 1,000 per trade, and in order for me to trade more than 1,000, I just have to click multiple times. So that's not always good, as you guys know. Time is everything, and you may miss out on the price. And also there's a latency, which is latency means it's kind of like whenever experience it when you try to shoot. If you any of you shoot you know a BB gun or even a gun, um, like it could be because of wind and whatever not. In the non-wind setting, you know you may have hit the target, but because of the wind it does not, kind of thing. And the delay as well. If your reflex is slow, if you may be aiming a moving target, if your reaction was slow, you can't hit it anymore. So this is exactly what happened in the trading that I was doing. So I shifted to a broker that allowed me to make bigger trades, and then shifted to another broker that allowed me to make even bigger trades. And before I knew it, I was making these like you know I was at this broker that I think the max trade was like 10k per click. So I was doing all these crazy super big trades and actually making money with it. Okay, so there was a time that I made a lot of money, cleared my debts really fast. It wasn't until I shifted to that broker that I cleared most of my debt, in fact. And uh, and and it got to a point that there was one day I was careless. I put a wrong trade expiration time, and I from if you guys know what that is if you trade, right, sometimes you know ever experience it when this trade, that if it would definitely have won if it was 2 minutes, but you didn't know that you made a 21-minute trade, kind of thing. And 21 minutes, oh gosh, so much can happen at that time. Then that prediction would have worked great for this, but would have been totally sour for that one. It was one of those things. And unfortunately, in that broker, I was not able to sell the trade early as well. So, well, and I had 5 figures on it, like multiple 5 figures on that trade. It was one of those trades that I was speaking about in my previous video, the one about decisions, right? It's like sometimes that you made the wrong decision, and it's better to just take back, even if it's just a little bit less than your capital on that trade. But early sell was not available on that thing, and there was no rollover as well. I don't think there's rollover, but the way I remember, I think even rollover would not have helped. Okay, so I was kind of stuck. I just had to watch time tick away. It was the most painful 21 minutes of my life, because I knew that it would definitely not work out in 21 minutes. But after that, I was like, oh shit, I don't like to. I'm the kind of guy that doesn't like to have many trades running at the same time. Okay, back then. Okay, now, I've way long overcome that, and that's why now I'm able to manage like different kind of trades on different charts in forex. But for the longest period of time, I was like a one trade at one time kind of guy, and I think that's also a very good place to start. If you guys are new to trading, you know, one trade at one time is a very, very good place to start, because that way you won't get cluttered in your brain. So anyway, I was one trade one time kind of guy, and after I had to slowly watch myself lose about 50 or 60k over 21 minutes. I was angry. I wanted to get it back, and I actually found some good opportunities, and I actually, got back double, nearly double of what I lost, which was like close to 100k. Um, Never traded that aggressively, ever. Okay, I never screwed up that bad into messing up with time until that day. And that happened to be a really big, super sure opportunity that I was that confident. And then after that happened, I basically got this other trade in, got back, nearly about twice of what I lost. So I was up by close to like 50. I don't remember the numbers exactly. And then I was like, shit, never made that much in such a short period of time. It was under 40 minutes. Okay, never made that much short period of time. Shall we push the envelope? Shall we just go for six figures? And then, what a great story that would be, right? I could tell everyone about it. Six-figure day. And then I got big-headed, made more mistakes under pressure, because when you ever felt before that, okay, sometimes you are calm, okay, sometimes I have a very good explanation for this. I'll tell it to you right now. You ever felt like in demo you can trade great, right? But sometimes when you go live you cannot. You know why? It is because of the blood flow. Okay, and I'll tell you how to manage that blood flow in another video, not today, because there's a whole new topic for itself. Blood flow. When you are stressed, do you think the blood flow is here or somewhere else? This is the question. Is the blood flow here? It should be here, right? It should be here. Okay, just a hint. After you have a heavy meal, where do you think is the blood flow? It's not here. It's here. The reason why after a heavy meal we feel sleepy is because all that blood is being drawn to support our digestive processes, and in that time, our mental aspect is being deprived, and therefore we feel sleepy. This is the reason for it. So when you are under pressure, a lot of pressure, the blood flow initially was here. So when I turned the tables on that 50,000, 60,000 mistake, whatever it was, okay, then the blood flow was still here, okay, but as I got big-headed and the adrenaline was rushing, because it was about to be my biggest day, right? And the adrenaline was rushing, the blood was no longer here and it went somewhere else. It was like in my hands, in my body, in my chest. Heart was pounding, okay? It was anywhere but here. So I started making mistakes. I know nobody's business. I was like, winning one trade, losing the next, winning the next one, losing another one, and then I think I got into a situation where I lost 2 or 3 in a row, and I was like, what the heck? I'm about to lose, what I had gone through so much drama to make. And like, what the heck? And then that's when I lost it. I lost it. I literally was click spamming the thing, and you only know what kind of situation that leads to. So do not click spam your trading terminal. Okay, so I click spammed it, and you can imagine. Gosh, yeah, I click spammed it, and when you click spam, the problem with clicking many times versus clicking one time is what I mentioned this earlier. Latency, but also in simple terms is delay. And imagine the target is moving and you're firing, Okay, even if your first shot hits, but you think the next ones will hit, questionable, right? Or when you're firing it at a fast-moving object, what is your hit rate going to be like? Not very good. It's exactly what happened. So I was in for a 2 or 3 minute roller coaster ride. I saw, like the the highlight of the trade. You can roughly know what broker that I'm talking about. The highlight of the trade was going from green to red to no color to green to red to no color, and finally, a majority of them finished red. So, um, like minutes ago was, about like 40-50K up, and then now it's in the red. Gosh, um, downward spiral. And it okay the let me just skip to what eventually happened. Okay, I was still I eventually was able to escape with just about 4 or 5 thousand down that day. That's when I was able to cut a stop to this insanity that I was doing. But actually, it really shouldn't have been that I was 4 to 5 thousand down that day, but it should have been that I would have eventually really hit a six figures day with the crazy trading that I subsequently did, where it was not carelessness, although there was careless before that, but it was not carelessness that I nearly wiped out my account. Okay, I put on so much on the line to come off 4,000, 5,000 down eventually. Because what happened was that I clearly won. If you look at TradingView or MetaTrader, you look at MetaStock, I clearly won by 2 or 3 pips. But on the platform, it reflected as a loss, and the broker failed to honor that, refused to honor that. I mean, why would they want to honor that? Because they would be, losing a large sum of money that could be used to pay out a lot of traders' profit, right? Because what is the most traders withdrawing? A couple of $100, maybe, a couple of thousand. But this was like, tens of thousands. Heck, it was not only tens of thousands, it was like tens of thousands, over 100,000. So that was the day that I decided to close that account after that stupid incident, when I found out that they had no plans on, making it good. All right, no plans or even returning capital or resetting that day. Gosh, what's so difficult? I mean, to make that a net zero day? No, they're not even willing to do that. Okay, not even willing to give me a percentage of profit that I should have earned, desired. So it's so important that you go with a regulated, transparent broker. So this is really here to underscore the importance of going with a regulated, transparent broker where they have means that you can get recourse. IQ Option, great broker. What I love about IQ Option is that, sometimes if they have a server error and you cannot get into your trading platform, they actually, refund the trade. Not only refund the trade, but in many instances they actually pay it out as though it's a profitable trade, although the charts will tell you a totally different story. So that is one of the great brokers to use. And I have a link in the video description to regulated brokers, which I highly recommend. IQ is one of them. There's Olymp. Okay, why is Olymp a great broker that I recommend as well? Because Olymp has like this thing which is like I think it's like IFC. If I remember, it's IFC. They're a member, category A member of the IFC, which actually protects you up to 20,000 within their fund for any problems on trading that you can have with the broker that you cannot resolve. Okay. Spectre AI. Okay, that's another one because it's gone. All the trades are this broker operates on the blockchain. It's not humanly done. It's on the blockchain, so it's relayed with the blockchain, third-party price feed, trades are also verified by a third party. Okay, um, high-low, I believe they use like a Thomson Reuters or equivalent feed. Okay, so there you can find a link to these brokers and more on that page, regulated brokers. Go into the link description over there. So I really do not wish that anyone has similar experience to mine. Firstly, of course, you shouldn't get so carried away, but we all know that things like this do happen. Okay, and if they do happen, please be on a broker that you will know, or you know in advance that you are protected from being jacked really bad. Okay, regulation is not everything. That's another thing I wish to say, because thinking back, the broker where this happened was a regulated broker. They were highly recommended and popular to some extent, but I was not the only one to be aware that they had problems in the way the trades were being verified. Why is it the trades verified differently? Okay, um, so finally, there are some things that you wish to know. Okay, that broker that I was with, uh, it was a precise 60-second trading um, broker, which okay, apart from the fact that there was definitely manipulation with regards to the trade expiries of those trades that I placed, because like I said, I was clearly winning based on other other platforms, but they claim otherwise. So and then the other thing that I wish to share with you is that, okay, precise 60-second and counting down to the next minute, this is actually quite different. Counting down to the next minute is what, like, IQ uses. Olim, I think you can switch between both. I can't remember, but I think that by default it will be on the precise, but I think you may be able to switch also. So just be aware of these things, okay? Because sometimes the way the trade expires can be a double-edged sword for you, and I think we need to devote another video to talk about that. Okay, so just stay tuned. I'll be putting another video about that topic, about the expiry time. I think I've talked about it before, but I think it would be good to put a 2019 insight on that as well. But in the meantime, if you guys want some brokers that you can trade with and have a peace of mind that you will not be jacked, okay? And I update this list very regularly, because from time to time, I listen to feedbacks and I have no qualms about removing certain broker if I can verify that what the complaints I get about them is true. So as a matter of fact, depending on when you're watching this video, the brokers that I mentioned earlier, that are on this page right now, they may or may not be there anymore in the next time. So please check the link in the video description so that you will not get jacked. Even if it was not due to a careless, no, sorry, you will not get jacked, especially if it wasn't a careless mistake. Okay, so please do not put yourself through the suffering and anguish, and and also one more thing. You remember just now I talked about how the blood was going from my head to other parts of my body and therefore affecting my ability to make clear, concise decisions. What if there was some way that I could teach you on how to make sure that the blood stays here when you need it? Would you be interested in that? All right, if that's something interesting for you, drop me some comments on that, and then maybe I'll decide to do a video on that as well. Okay, so in the meantime, go to the link in the video description about the regulated brokers and go there. And by the way, did you also know that if you are, in case some of you are not already in one of my programs like Binary Lab Basic, Binary Lab Elite, or even Martingale Mastered, okay, simply by opening account, which you will do if you're here, probably because you're looking at, oh, what broker was it that I nearly kind of like jacked myself with, or what exactly happened, okay? Or maybe you have some ideas that you it wasn't careless mistake, that your account nearly got wiped out and it was actually selling the broker, and you want to know which broker. Okay, so so if you're exploring for brokers and you're looking to open new accounts, and you found this video, you may as well also get to learn about trading binary options through me. And as a matter of fact, what you can already see by now is that when I don't really need to just keep on talking about methods and strategy all day to make you a better trader, because a lot of becoming a better trader is actually in the mind. So that's one thing that I can help you a lot with, because I've been in the teaching line for so many years. Like I told you, way back I was teaching tennis, and then I went on to be teaching internet marketing. Okay, I was doing both things at the same time. I was playing tennis, teaching tennis. I was doing internet marketing, teaching internet marketing. Right now I'm doing trading, teaching trading. So there's a lot of relevant advice that can help you to become a better trader. So do check out the links below. And I think I also have this notice at the bottom of the page anyway on that page. So if you are interested to also learn, just message my Facebook admin after you have open an account, and you actually may qualify for one, two, if not all three of my programs, or at least a massive discount on the Binary Lab Elite, which is the only program that you actually have to pay to get into. Okay, so that's all for me. And if there are any questions or topics that you'd like me to make videos about, leave them in the video description. Bye for now.